Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Holly Pritchard, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Corporal Chow Yee. We warmly welcome the family of Pilot Officer John Dickie, whose story will be told shortly. We warmly welcome Mr. Greg Hood, representing the Air Force Association, and Army recruits of A Company, 5 and 6 Platoon, 1st Recruit Training Battalion from Kapooka, New South Wales. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family, visitors to the memorial, and students on behalf of Glenmore State High School, visiting from Kawana, Queensland. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. Students and those who are able to do so, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Pilot Officer John Dickie. Known to his family as Jack, John Dickie was born in Glasgow, Scotland on the 16th of July, 1918, the youngest of 4 children born to William and Agnes Dickie. The family immigrated to Australia in late 1920 and began farming at Ballingage in Victoria. By the mid-1920s, the family had moved to Warborn, near Griffith, where William bought a farm, naming it Kittoch, after a place in Scotland the family had loved. Young Jack Dickie attended Griffith High School before going on to attend the Gordon Institute in Geelong, where he studied to be a woolclasser. By July 1941, with the Second World War raging, he was living in Manly and working as a farmer, grazier, and woolclasser for Dougherty's wool store in Sydney. Jack Dickie enlisted in Royal Australian Air Force on the 9th of November 1941, following in the footsteps of his older brother William, who had enlisted the previous month. Like his brother, Dickie was accepted for aircrew and pilot training as part of Empire Air Training Scheme. He trained at Narrandera, then Point Cook, where he was awarded his pilot's wings on the 14th of October, 1942. Having been promoted to sergeant, he sailed from Melbourne on the 15th of January, 1943. Arriving in England, Dickie was posted to number 93 Group, RAF, for operational training, flying the Wellington bomber. At the end of February 1944, he was posted to number 1665 Heavy Conversion Unit, where he met his crew and learned to fly the short Stirling Mark IV bomber, known as the Cloak and Dagger Stirling, purpose-built to tow Horsa glider, carry paratroopers, and deliver supplies. This was a key aircraft for Royal Air Force's number 38 Group Transport Command. By the time Dickie joined the number 299 Squadron RAF, located at RAF Station Keyville in Wiltshire, training for the invasion of France was well underway. Dickie and his crew were involved in training flights, towing gliders, and carrying paratroopers. Just before the midnight on the 5th of June, Dickie took off from Keyville. His squadron joined the massive airborne Armada flying paratroopers and towed gliders to Normandy. Having successfully delivered his 20 paratroopers and their equipment containers, his aircraft was hit by the starboard wing by a flak. Despite this, he reported the mission as a very good trip. Dickie was a part of the second lift that evening, this time towing a Horsa glider laden with British airborne infantrymen. Once again, he delivered his charges to the battlefield, and again, his aircraft was hit by flak, this time in the fuselage. Again, he made a safe return. On the 23rd of June, and 6 days after being promoted to temporary warrant officer, Dickie took part in resupply operation to Normandy. The drop zone was surrounded by barrage balloons, and Dickie's Stirling accidentally struck a balloon cable, severing it and releasing the balloon. The aircraft remained flying, however, and he was able to continue the operation and return. In September, the Allies tried to shorten the war by driving through Holland to reach Germany. As part of Operation Market Garden, 299 Squadron was involved in the massive airborne lift, taking the British 1st Airborne Division to Arnhem, following this up with supply operations. Dickie and his crew flew 4 successful operations, each increasingly hazardous as the Germans gained the upper hand. On the night of 26th of November, Dickie and his crew took off a mission to resupply a Norwegian resistance group near Oslo. The squadron had relocated to RAF Station Wethersfield and was dropping supplies to resistance forces in Norway. Dickie's wireless operator, the Australian warrant officer Robert Kennedy, later reported, "We were attacked by two night fighters, Ju-88 and Me-109. No order was heard from the captain. The intercom was out of action by cannon fire, and the aircraft was diving out of control with starboard engine on fire." Kennedy also reported that Rear Gunner Flight Sergeant Stanley Dixon was killed in his turret, and that Dickie was in the aircraft as it crashed into the sea near Christensand. Flight Sergeant Joseph Stewart and Sergeant Derek Baumel bailed out and were captured. Flight Sergeant G. Marchand bailed out and evaded capture, eventually making his way to England. Dickie, who was posthumously commissioned as a pilot officer, and Dixon were initially listed as missing, believed killed. Later investigations found the two men lost their lives when their aircraft crashed into the sea. Today, Dickie's name and that of his rear gunner are commemorated on the Runnymede Memorial in Surrey. John Dickie was 26 years old. His older brother, William, joined the RAF in October 1940 and served as a pilot in India before returning to Australia in 1945. John Dickie's name is listed on the Roll of Honor on my left, among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Pilot Officer John Dickie, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget.
We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff, and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.